Hello again, everybody. We are back in New Mexico this week, up in the northwest corner of the state with some new property very close to the Navajo Marina. These, of course, are always popular properties whenever we list them, not only because of their proximity to the marina, but also because of their complete lack of planning and zoning laws. That, of course, makes them not only RV friendly, but also camping friendly, yurt friendly, tiny home friendly, and do whatever your little heart desires friendly. This one's 2.4 acres, priced at $12,000. Learn all about it and more after the intro. All right, people, we're going to spend a little bit of time on the map here because I want to show you not only the subject parcel, but some of the many attractions that are available within this area. So first, let me start off by saying the property is located up here in San Juan County in the northwest part of the state. Of course, this is the Four Corners region of New Mexico, so you've got Colorado to the north, Arizona to the west, and Utah to the northwest. The Four Corners landmark is, of course, a major attraction and one that sits not far, roughly an hour and a half from the subject property. Additionally, guys, just over here where the 491 meets the 64, you've got the Shiprock Monument, which, of course, is one of the state's most iconic attractions, a giant monolithic rock formation sticking out of the ground, reaching up to the heavens, a sight to see, roughly an hour from where our subject property is located. Now, of course, the parcel of land we're going to be talking about today is situated just here west of the Navajo Marina. Now, should be noted, guys, that while there are some mom-and-pop convenience stores in this region, the closest town for groceries and supplies or medical facilities is going to be Farmington, roughly 35 miles west. Now, of course, you've got some other towns out here along the way, such as Turley and Blanco and Bloomfield, but realistically, it's going to be Farmington where you'll be driving for major grocery and supply runs. And of course, out here in Farmington, you've got the San Juan Regional Medical Center, Four Corners Regional Airport, but also a number of casinos, bars, restaurants, grocery stores, pharmacies, and of course, everybody's favorite, the Walmart. And it should be noted that Farmington is not home to just one Walmart, people. Nay, no, they've got two. Two whole Walmarts. One down here by the 64 and one up here off the 516. Of course, they've also got a Sam's Club, a Target, and the all-important Home Depot. So if you do end up purchasing this land and you start building on it, it's going to be Farmington where you're going to be driving for all your major building supply needs. And with all that said, guys, let's go back to the marina and devote some time to this. So the Navajo Marina, it should be noted, is the second largest body of water in the state, second only to Elephant Butte Lake down in Sierra County. Of course, Navajo Marina, in my opinion, takes the far greater advantage, capitalizes, if you will, off the fact that it is a body of water in a largely desert state and has managed to provide plenty of activities for tourists and locals alike. In fact, out here at the marina, you can find plenty to do and rent, such as boats and bumper boats, jet skis, skidoos, kayaks, aquacycles, hydro bikes, and of course, everybody's favorites, those big 48-foot houseboats. So if you do end up buying the land, you can also invite all your friends out here, have a big party on the lake. Of course, to learn more about all the many things the marina has to offer, I'd encourage you to check out their website, which is actually pretty good, has a lot of information about everything I just discussed, plus fishing guides, nearby lodging, so on and so forth. And yet again, guys, let me delay getting to the specific property because I just want to highlight a few more advantages to buying land in this region. So if we zoom back here on the map, it's worth noting that in neighboring Rio Arriba County, you've got the El Vado and Huron Lakes, as well as Abiquiu Lake, all just a short distance away. So of course, if you ever get tired of the marina, if you ever get tired of the tourists, you can just drive your boat over there and take advantage of all the sort of fishing and general relaxation you'll find in those respective areas. Additionally, guys, one of the other major benefits of buying land in this region is that you're not just buying a seasonal property best enjoyed only a few months out of the year while the marina is open. Nay, in fact, up here in San Juan County, you're in relatively short driving distance to some of the best skiing in America. Over here in nearby Taos County, roughly 2 hours east and north into Colorado, either a half-hour drive into Durango or a 2-hour drive up into Telluride. But the point being, guys, is that all of this is really just right in your backyard. Okay, people, with all that said, let's get to talking about the subject property. So as noted, guys, we're in very close proximity here to the Navajo Marina. Our parcel is located here, roughly about 4 miles north of the marina entrance. And additionally, the subject property sits in very close proximity to Highway 511 right here. Now, when I was first evaluating this property, I found it kind of interesting. And if we zoom in on the map here, I'll show you why. So first off, one of the things that jumps out at us is that there's not a name road going to this property. Okay, the 4050's up here, and then it's also called 4050 down here. It kind of loops around, but the point is the road doesn't touch the property. When we have purchased properties here in the past, and we've purchased a lot at this point, I usually like to find things that are right off of one of these named roads if for no other reason than ability to demonstrate to you buyers, potential buyers, that, hey, look, road access is really easy. But I also do it because I kind of worry about legal access with a parcel like this, okay? Now, the other thing that I found interesting when I looked at this on the map is that you've got a developed home site over here to the immediate west, you've got one over here to the immediate southwest, and then you've got one right over here to the immediate south. And if you kind of zoom in on the map, I don't know how much of this will read on Google Maps in a video, but you can see that there's a power line down here, and you can see that there's a power line up here on the property. And if you really study Google Maps, you will see the actual cables kind of running between these 2 points. And additionally, they run further up this way to a power line that's located here. So I thought, well, this property is interesting because it has clearly power at the lot line. There's clearly a utility easement running here. Maybe this is also the legal easement to the property. Now, let's talk about this for a second, guys. Let me go back to map view here. You've got all these squares representing these 2.4, 4.8 acre parcels. That's what you typically find out here. And when I see a parcel like this located without primary road access, I worry, one, is it accessible, but two, is it legally accessible? And yes, all the lots around it are not really developed, but maybe one day they will, and I want to make sure if we're selling a lot to you guys that it's not landlocked at a later date. So one of the things that we made the purchase agreement contingent on, we're buying from the previous owner, was we want to confirm legal access. Well, we took it to a title company, they confirmed legal access. And because I like to be super thorough about these things, guys, we hired a surveyor. Cheney Walters Eccles is the kind of major surveyor out here. They went out and they surveyed and staked the land, and they not only confirmed legal access, but they also put boundary markers out here, which I will show you in just a moment. So the point of me going through all this explanation is simply to demonstrate that while this is not off a main road, it is legally accessible. And actually, if you kind of zoom in up here, you can see there is a bit of a turnoff up here. There is a path that has been carved down this way. Obviously, the neighbors are using this in some form or fashion, but the point is you can access this property legally, and there's a pretty good road leading out to the lot. Even though it's not a major named road, it does exist, and it is your access point for the property. So let me go to the gallery, guys. I'm going to show you some photos here. Of course, we've got a bunch of photos of the marina in this gallery, all taken during the summertime in better weather. The property photos that we have today are, of course, taken during the winter, so you're going to have to use your imagination a little bit. There is more snow on the ground here than you would typically find. Whatever the case, this is Highway 511 and the turnoff here at Road 4050. So up here, guys, this is where that photo is taken from. Next, this again is that same turnoff. Here at the turnoff, you can kind of see some utilities in this region. Ah, there we go. Underground utilities. So those home sites that I showed you on the map are being serviced by underground utilities, which means they are very close to the subject property, and you can likely get them connected to whatever you decide to build on that parcel as well. Now, additionally, guys, here's the turnoff from Road 4050 to that legal easement that I was talking about. So just to kind of walk you through this, this would be right up here. That's where this photo is taken at. This turnoff from the 4050 going down here to the subject property. And then as we go through these photos, you can get a sense of what exactly this sort of legal easement, which we'll call a road, what this legal access road looks like. Of course, as always, guys, a larger truck or off-road capable vehicle is recommended. You not only get a sense in these photos what the road looks like, but you can also, of course, see the power lines that sit at the property boundary and the fact that this is both a legal access road as well as a utility easement. I don't know what this thing is. I think one of the neighbors put it up, but it's not a gate prohibiting access, okay? Anyway, as we go through these, you also get a sense of the utilities that are right here at the property. You can kind of see one of the neighbors' developed home sites off here in the distance. And as we go through them further, you get an even better sense of that. So this is one of the property boundary markers that's out here. Here's the second one. Here's the third one, and here's the fourth one. This, of course, is a major benefit to you, the buyer, because you will not have to pay for such a thing. It already exists. The property's already been staked, and that is one of the reasons why this property is a scooch more expensive than like-type properties we have typically listed in this region. By the way, you'll notice this fencing right here, guys, that this boundary marker sits at. That is one down here on the south end of the property, or this guy's north end of his property. So that's where that fencing is, and you'll see it again in the next photo that he's got fencing running along the north end of his property. So your property boundaries are pretty well dictated, so that's always nice. Anyway, guys, as we go through this, of course, you get a sense of what the property's like. There's some vegetation on this. Of course, it'll require some landscaping if you are going to develop the property. There's that utility easement I was referencing earlier. It should be noted, guys, that like with a lot of land that you see out here by the marina, by the canyons, you've got kind of a rocky terrain to this property. And if we once again go back to the map right here, you can see, this is that kind of rocky terrain kind of cutting through the property. Of course, we have more photos of this. It doesn't occupy the entirety of the land. There's still plenty of room here to build a house, plenty of room to camp, plenty of room to construct or park, whatever you're going to construct or park. But this is one of the sort of features of the topography of this property, so we do want to make you aware of that in advance of a potential purchase. Might be something you want to go out there and scout. It might be something that you look at as an advantage because at least you can build up higher maybe on it and have some kind of nicer views of the surrounding valley. Drone overlays of the property give you an exact sense of the footprint of the property and how this property kind of relates to its neighbors out here. Home site number 1, home site number 2, as well as this kind of rocky terrain that cuts through the property. As you can see, there's still plenty of space on which to build, on which to park, on which to camp, so on and so forth. So with all that said, guys, this is normally the part of the video where I like to talk about zoning, where I like to talk about HOAs and whatever covenants and restrictions they might have. That said, guys, this is going to be a very short topic because this property is not burdened with either one of those. Let's talk about HOAs first. So first off, there's no HOA. Hey, look at that. Pretty easy, huh? Because there's no HOA, there's no covenants, there's no restrictions, there's no annual dues, there's no time limits on building. That, of course, means that you're going to have a lot greater freedom and independence to develop this property in whichever way you see fit. Number 1. Number 2, San Juan County is not necessarily a county that is without zoning. It has zoning, but San Juan County defers to the townships, the municipalities that are within it, to make their own rules and restrictions about whatever, minimum square footage, heights of buildings, setbacks of buildings, so on and so forth. So the town of Farmington might have some specific requirements about building, but in this particular part of the county, it's called unincorporated San Juan County, which means it's not subject to any planning and zoning ordinances. So because of that, of course, as we write up here, we say that the property is ideal for those looking to experiment with alternative housing, such as a tiny home, a shipping container home, or other structures generally difficult to get permitted in other parts of the state. The point is, guys, is that all of those things that are normally a burden to buyers, to people trying to develop land, particularly the types of buyers we encounter who want to do less conventional things, will not be a burden to you should you elect to build and develop this property. So with all that said, people, if you are interested in purchasing this property, you'll be glad to know that we closed on it through San Juan Title, which means that we not only receive title insurance, but that we will be conveying it to you with a warranty deed. So if you come up here on the listing page, go to the Buy Now button, click this, which will take you to this secure checkout, where we ask for a non-refundable, people, let me say it again, non-refundable $500 earnest money deposit. Now, to be clear, guys, this is not a property that has any financing offered. This is not a property where we're doing monthly payments. This is a property where we expect you to have the entire cash price. So if you do not have the entire cash price, you should not initiate this transaction. For those of you who do, however, here's the way it works. Come down here, give us the name for the deed, name for the contract, your mailing address. Then at the bottom of the page, agree to the terms of service, click next, and on the very next page, you can enter credit or debit card information to place the $500 deposit. Now, to be clear, guys, this is an expensive property. Really, anything north of $10,000, we encourage our buyers to close through a title company on. Of course, you don't have to do that. Nobody's got a gun to your head. It's up to you. But when you're spending this kind of money, we recommend getting title insurance. And of course, one of the major benefits here for you, the buyer, is that with a title company, you've got a third-party intermediary who is not only handling the conveyance of the property, but also the disbursement of funds, meaning we cannot touch your money until such a time as the property has been deeded into your name. Now, if you're unfamiliar with how that whole process works, you'll be glad to know that on the listing page, we've got this helpful Notes About Purchasing, which goes into a little more detail here, but more helpfully, it links you to some pages on the website which will go into even greater detail about this process. The first page is called How It Works Buying From Us, and if you go here, you can see exactly how this process plays out. Step 1, you place that deposit. Step 2, we're going to draft a contract. You sign it, we sign it. And step 3, the title company will do the rest, albeit slowly and over the period of about a month. And in case you're at all skeptical about placing money before seeing the contract you'll be asked to sign, you'll be glad to know we have a copy of our standard sale purchase agreement right here. You can click that and read through a generic version of what that contract looks like. It's a pretty easy contract, one page for signatures. If you got a lawyer in the family, have them give it a look-see, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Additionally, guys, if you haven't been through the title escrow process before, you're probably going to have a lot of questions about it. You'll be glad to know we have a page on our website entitled Title Escrow Frequently Asked Questions page. So if you click on that, it'll take you to this page where pretty much every conceivable question we have ever gotten from a buyer or will ever get from a buyer is answered here. Questions about benefits, questions about potential drawbacks, timeline, schedule, logistics, so on and so forth. So we encourage you, give that a read. So in conclusion, people, glad to finally have property by the Navajo Marina back up on the website. It's been a while since we've had it, but of course, every time we do, these properties are intensely popular. They tend to sell out shortly after we list them, not only, of course, because of the ideal attraction of having land this close to the marina, as well as all the other attractions that I mentioned, but of course, because of the lack of formal zoning and really any sort of regulation in the area. Additionally, guys, this property is extra special because we did get it surveyed and staked, so you're going to have that extra benefit going out there, that your property boundaries will already be well established and dictated for you, something you won't have to worry about once you purchase. So with all that said, guys, hope you like this property as much as I do. If you are interested in it, I would encourage you to act sooner rather than later. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you in the next video.